on the board with the remise is Bianchi. Comes in at you from all sorts of weird angles. And now the referee's microphone is working. Everything is now working, including that remise of the attack by CHOUPENITCH. So it's 1-1. Each fencer scores in a remise. Interesting way to start. It's a yellow card for CHOUPENITCH for exposing his back, turning the back to Bianchi. So for those of you new to fencing, we go to 15. First one of 15 is the winner. We have 3 3-minute periods with a 1-minute break in between. If at the end of those 9 minutes the score is not tied, the fencer in the lead is the winner. If it's tied, you have a 1-minute overtime with one fencer having the priority. So there has to be a winner in that minute. This is foil, and one of the ways to get the right of way, as CHOUPENITCH did, was putting out the line. Keep an eye on the fencer's hand, not the feet. It's all part of the tapestry of what they're doing, but you get the right of way based on what your hand is doing, not your footwork. Threatening your opponent's valid target with the attack, or if you beat your opponent's blade, that gives you the right of way to then attack. Or if your opponent attacks and you parry, you're now allowed to make a riposte. And you'll see sometimes today that the person whose light goes on first, it's not going to be their right of way. Like you'll see CHOUPENITCH is much taller and longer than Bianchi. I wouldn't be surprised some of his times his light will go on ahead, but he won't have the right of way. Maybe even in that case by a split second. That was the attack from the right by Bianchi. So the target area, if you see that electric jacket, it's called a lame. And the lower part of the bib is also electrified. That's the target area, which would cause the colored light to go on. The arms and the top of the mask and the legs, that's off target, or like a foul ball in baseball. A fencer who has the right of way who hits off target against someone who hits them good will still have the right of way off target. There won't be any touch. The fencers each get 2 video challenges, and if they challenge and the referee reverses the call, they maintain that challenge. Another counterattack by CHOUPENITCH. Now you can see he's much taller, he's much longer, he has a huge reach advantage, so Bianchi has to figure out how to get inside his distance. And while he was thinking about getting inside his distance, CHOUPENITCH surprised him with an attack right in the middle. And here was an example where CHOUPENITCH hit way ahead. His red light went on first, but it was just a counterattack. That's why he didn't have the right of way. That's why it goes to Bianchi. Here's Bianchi sort of almost taunting his opponent, swiping the blade, going at these crazy angles like that. Referee said the line looked like a counterattack, but whatever it is, it was one light and it counts. And so far in the first third of this bout, CHOUPENITCH has been very successful using his length with counterattacks. It's 3 times, maybe a remise once as well. So he has the line out there. That gives him the right of way. It's threatening the target. That's the line from the left. Not anymore. Bianchi beats the blade, which gave him the right of way, and then attacked. It's the attack, says the referee. CHOUPENITCH asking to check see if his weapon's working. Does the white light come on? It does. Yes, he had the line out, and then when Bianchi started his attack, he withdrew the line, started his new attack, which is technically a counterattack. So CHOUPENITCH is 50-50 in that action. Sometimes he's hit on the counterattack or the line. Sometimes he's gotten hit. Still the attack from Bianchi, and he missed. Counterattack scores. Taco fair, says the referee, which means beat attack, and that's the second time in a row that Bianchi has taken the blade and attacked, and the second time CHOUPENITCH has counterattacked into it. Ref's going to look to see if the line was out. If the line was out before Bianchi started his forward motion of his arm, CHOUPENITCH gets it. The referee's looking at it right in front of me, but I can't see the screen, so I can't do a visual eavesdrop on this one. And here's the call. That was a close one, 50-50. That's the line. Bianchi says rather he ducked to it. Doesn't matter. Nothing that you do, if the line is out, doesn't matter what your head does or your feet does. The line is the line. I look for CHOUPENITCH to surprise Bianchi with an attack here. It's the counter riposte off target. That was the attack from CHOUPENITCH, but it was off target. There's that line. Daring. Referee says attack go fair. Let's watch. Watch him take the blade. Take it. And the second time. So Bianchi scores in that almost every time. Either it's a good touch or it's off target. CHOUPENITCH has to go to plan B once Bianchi starts beating the blade. No counterattacks. And they're going to go to the break here in an action-packed, even first period, where we saw them both start off hitting their opponent on remises. We've seen CHOUPENITCH score on some counterattacks and line. Line is a dangerous move because when you put the line out, you know, your opponent gets it, you're in trouble. And sometimes you put it out a little bit late, as CHOUPENITCH did earlier, but the last one he got it. And Bianchi has been really successful pushing and finally getting the blade. Everything he does is on the blade because he's up against the longer opponent. So Bianchi's been very successful at that. Now CHOUPENITCH did throw in one surprise attack, maybe two, and I look for him to do that because if he's able to do that, that could set up some of his defensive actions because Bianchi's not expecting it. We're underway with the second of 3 periods. An attack from the left, and the words barely got out of the referee's mouth, and Bianchi challenged it. His first challenge so far. Referee Huang of Chinese Taipei. Here comes the call. Still the attack. Lead for CHOUPENITCH. 1 of 2 reviews burnt. And Bianchi just acknowledged he put his finger up. A little bit late for that.
Just a moment. One get. Queen. Ari. Up. Forward attack. Push. One.
So Bianchi.
Mask.
Attack and preparation.
One get. Three. Ari.
CHOUPENITCH was sort of coming forward with his feet, but his arm hadn't yet started moving. And now he's decided to pick it up a little bit here. Change tactics.
Up. Lali.
Gave the line.
One.
Take that, says Bianchi with the line.
Okay. Ari. Up.
Oh, that's a riposte. Or
One.
he's going to change the weapon. Ask him to test it. That's the look on Bianchi's face all day. Our broadcast booth was right near the blue piece, and all of his bouts were there, and I was watching him. He just looked like that the entire day. Not too high, not too low. Except when he was challenging Coles. That's when he came to life.
One get. Okay. Ari. Up. L'attaque. No bala. One get. Okay. Ari. Up. L'attaque pass.
The attack from the right missed. Let's see why. Weapon works. CHOUPENITCH might have stepped in and just caused the point to go by his target.
Okay. Ari. Up. L'attaque pass. Forward attack. Push. One.
Wow, CHOUPENITCH with his long distance takes the blade and misses on the attack. Bad luck for him.
One get. Okay. Ari. Up. Attack para. Post no bala.
The beat attack from the right was parried, riposte off target.
Okay. Ari. Lali.
He gave it the line as opposed to attack from left. Immediately CHOUPENITCH challenges. A lot of line. I can tell you as a referee, boy, those line calls are tough. And it's good that they have video, they take a look at it. I mean, CHOUPENITCH was sort of coming forward, but did he stop? Was he really moving forward? Maybe we could take one more look at that one. There's the referee. It's not coming up on his video board. They're going to have to try to find it. If they can't find it and you can't reproduce it, the original call stands. I'd like to see a straight-on shot of that attack that action. See, if CHOUPENITCH, who had begun, if his arm was moving towards the valid target of Bianchi the whole time, he did start. The question is whether, in the referee's opinion, he really was moving towards the target. That's what this comes down to. I'll tell you, the fencers, it got really hot early today. It was brutally hot, and it was hot in here. I think a few fencers had cramps, but it has cooled off. It's actually really pleasant. There's the ref and the video ref. They're going actually to look over at another screen. There's Bianchi's fencing second finger knuckle. All of our knuckles get destroyed there. And the grinding against the handle, no matter how much tape you put on.
Just a moment. I announce my. Just a moment. Mask first. I announce the decision first. And the shoes. Mask.
He lost his shoe.
I announce the decision.
CHOUPENITCH.
And he asks for the.
Call him CHOUPENITCH. Stepped out of his shoe.
Lali.
It's the line.
Medical.
It's the line. Oh, so he's out of his shoe because he hurt himself. So that was a double whammy. He lost a really, really close call. And now he's putting the freeze spray on there. Hopefully to numb it a little bit. Here's the action. That line is out. The line's out. Line is out. Good call by the ref. When I first looked at it, I thought maybe it was the attack from the left, but that replay was pretty crystal clear. And thanks for our director for finding that, because the first angle was from behind CHOUPENITCH. It wasn't a good angle. That was a perfect angle. That's the third or fourth line. It's unbelievable. CHOUPENITCH started off with the line, and now it's Bianchi scored 3 times on that. Attack from the left, but it was more than that. You hear clink, clunk. That was a beat attack from the left. When you beat the blade, that gives you the right of way.
Attack 2 points. Because he turned, yes, I know. Attack 2.
So the call goes to Bianchi. I think the referee got confused with his hand. Sometimes the hand signal goes one way, the call goes the other way in the heat of battle, but that was the call. And here it is. Let's take a look. Line. Oh. One can certainly argue that could go to the left, but CHOUPENITCH didn't seem to complain. Bianchi won away. Bianchi, Guillaume Bianchi of Italy. He has a chance to win back-to-back foil Grand Prix. 15-10 winner over CHOUPENITCH. It was very close all along the way, and then all of a sudden just a little bit of an opening there with those 2 or 3 lines in a row that seemed to throw CHOUPENITCH for a loop, who wasn't able to get his attack game going. There's your winner, Guillaume Bianchi. He'll be fighting for gold later on tonight. And CHOUPENITCH with his 2nd consecutive Grand Prix bronze. Congratulations to him. Okay. Interesting tactics in that bout. I think that's the most touches scored with the line that I've seen in a long time. Both fencers utilizing it.